Hi, I'm Phil DiCologero. I'm the Executive Director of the Amesbury Chamber of Commerce, and you're joining us as part of our regular Economic Development Speaker Series. This format was put together by our Economic Development Committee in partnership with our program sponsors, Newburyport Bank, Energy Source, and North Shore Realty Group, to bring resources and information directly from professionals into the hands of our business owners. One of the silver linings of COVID that we've moved a lot of our programming online so that you as business owners and entrepreneurs can have access to these resources. Today, we're joined by Nate Robertson of the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. But before we jump in with Nate, I want to thank Frank Bertolino from North Shore Realty Group for being part of the team that organized today's program. Thank you, Frank.
Hi, I'm Frank Bertolino, owner-broker of the North Shore Realty Group. Thank you to the Amesbury Chamber of Commerce and its Economic Development Committee for creating these regular forums to educate not only our businesses, but the public as well on different initiatives, resources, and development in our business community. At the North Shore Realty Group, we are proud to be a sponsor of this program and help make this information accessible to all. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Frank. As I mentioned earlier, we're joined today by Nate Robertson from the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. Nate's been on this program before, but today he's discussing specific programming related to MV Strong. This is a program that connects new and existing entrepreneurs with resources to help them build and grow their businesses. So check out what Nate has to say. Nate, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for inviting me. And I think the last time I was before this committee, we had teased that we had gotten the funding for this program and that we were setting up the architecture and the contracts and all that fun behind the scenes stuff. So happy to report that since that time, we've set it up and we've rolled out the program, and kind of just wanted to walk folks through it. We think it's a pretty compelling free resource for small businesses, especially, coming out of this year, and knock on wood, whatever comes next. So I've got a few slides here. I always kind of feel silly going through slides when there's, a handful of folks, but we'll fly through the slides just kind of for the record. And then we'll get to the program itself, Merrimack Valley Strong here. All right. Everyone see two pretty graphics?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So like I said, I'm with the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. And most folks don't know what a planning commission is. We do a lot of work behind the scenes. You can think of us, we are a governmental organization, and our clients are the cities and towns in our region. We were established in 1959, and our mission to promote orderly growth and good stewardship through the region. We have four main kind of priority areas, program areas: transportation planning, environmental planning, community and economic development planning, and then geographic information systems and IT services, kind of behind the scenes tech stuff that we help municipalities with. In our community and economic development shop, as I call it, we have two kind of main themes that we always come back to. And those are resilience and equity. We want to constantly be doing work that makes our region able to recover quickly and withstand economic shocks. And we also want to consistently be doing work that closes the wealth gap, especially along racial, ethnic, and gender lines, and ensuring that opportunities to build and retain wealth are available to all folks in the region. And both of a number of strategies in these two sort of overarching themes are articulated in our comprehensive economic development strategy, which was developed by Angie Cleveland over now with the city of Amesbury. So kind of full circle there. A little background on this, the funds that we used to set up Merrimack Valley Strong were provided to us by the Economic Development Administration. It's a federal agency that sits within the U.S. Department of Commerce. And they awarded the funds to us sort of in the midst of COVID. We've built a fully bilingual program from top to bottom that centers equity and furthers the mission of building economic resilience in the Merrimack Valley. So here's the logo, Merrimack Valley Strong. We partnered with Mill Cities Community Investments They are the only CDFI in the region. It's a community development finance institution. And what they do is their mission is to provide loans and financing options to businesses which are traditionally unbankable. And for a lot of folks that on the finance side of things, they know that lending to new businesses is not always the safest option from a bank's perspective. So oftentimes it's very difficult for small business owners or entrepreneurs to access financing that's flexible and they can really utilize without putting up the house or a whole bunch of collateral. So CFIs work specifically with entrepreneurs and small businesses to kind of bridge that gap and provide financing options to small businesses and entrepreneurs. That's one of our partners. We also partnered with Small Business Strong, which started in the wake of COVID-19 by a lot of sort of the kind of financial organizations. State Street it was one of the leads, and their whole mission was, all right, we're big financial organizations. How do we help small businesses survive this thing? And they created Small Business Strong to do that. So these are the slides I'm going to fly through here because we know why we did this program. Small businesses are the lifeblood of our local economies, and they were also disproportionately affected by COVID-19. We know of all small businesses were really devastated. Studies show us that those small businesses that were most adversely affected were those that were owned by women and people of color. So there's an equity piece to this too. And so we worked with a bunch of organizations in all of our cities and towns in the Merrimack Valley to make sure that we provided some programming that small businesses could actually access. Traditionally, planning commissions do a lot of, like I said, sort of behind the scenes planning. They lay out strategies, they lay out action plans. We saw this as an opportunity to do the other side of that, which is do some action. And so we really focus on being a resource for businesses on the ground. And we were happy to partner with Amesbury to help bring those resources to Amesbury. So at the end of the day, how does it work? It's fundamentally a matchmaking program. We match local business advisors with businesses. We recruit the businesses. We've recruited a pretty nice bench of local business advisors. We now have over 20 business advisors. A third of them are bilingual. So we have a lot of Spanish speakers. We have some, I think we have a German speaker as well and a Portuguese speaker. But we also have a bench of over 45 statewide advisors and everything from Khmer to Mandarin. But we want to pair folks with local advisors as often as possible. And this isn't voluntary. We're not asking advisors to, spend 5 hours and not get compensated for this. Advisors are paid. This is paid work. So you're a priority in their eyes. And we wanted to make sure that was not, that was going to be the case in all of our business cases. So the idea here is after the program's all said and done, businesses have new relationships with advisors in the region that can help them above and beyond the length of the program. So I'm going to pop right over to the web page where you can apply. Hold on, let me see if I can do this smoothly. Can you see the website?
Yeah.
Easy enough. Excellent. So where does this all live? It lives at wearemv.com. So that's short for We Are Merrimack Valley. And this is a regional economic development website that we incorporated this program into. And you see right there on the homepage, this banner, get support for your small business. So you can just click that. There's a couple different avenues to it if you click around on our website. And you get to Merrimack Valley Strong. So you can, here's right off the bat, you can see a couple of our business advisors. Try to, these are real people behind the screen. These aren't just, you're not going into a black box here. They're real people in our region that have been working with businesses for decades. Frank Carvalho, Janine Duran, and Elkin Montoya were three folks that we decided to kind of feature up here. But again, just showing that these are these are local folks. We're not sending you off to some business advisor in Boston or Pittsfield. These are folks down the street. We know the last thing businesses want to do is spend a bunch of times on an application figuring out if we qualify and putting all this information in. So this is the entire application. It's right here. It takes 5 minutes, and you get a call back within 24 hours from somebody who will pair you with a business advisor. And so we have a whole team on the back end of this that does this matchmaking, that talks on the phone. It's a real live person. It's not a bot or automated. The team is staffed by LISC. It's an organization. They're based out of Boston, but they've been doing this work on a statewide level for some time now. So they're very good at what they do. And they're very much on top of it. And they do all sort of, they're the folks behind the curtain, so to speak. And so they'll match a business with what they think is an appropriate business advisor who can address their needs, whatever they are. So what are the needs we're seeing? We're seeing everything from what do I need to do to ensure that I've got loan forgiveness for the PPP program or EIDL? What do I need to do in order to access all these government programs I keep hearing all about? A lot of folks are coming out of COVID and are saying, my books are a disaster. I need somebody to teach me QuickBooks, or I need somebody to kind of like take a look at this stuff with me and give me a roadmap for what to do. We've got folks that are realizing, especially now that everything is digital, as I sit here on Zoom, that they need a marketing plan, that if they don't have a digital presence, they're not going to make it. And so you have folks going, I need to do social media. I need to make a website. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. The business advisors can either do that with you themselves, or they'll pair you up with a technical specialist, somebody who does, website work, who can work one-on-one with you to make sure that you've got a roadmap ahead of you, so you know what you're doing. So at the most, you'll work with 2 folks. You'll work with a business advisor and then like somebody who's really technical if you've got a really technical issue. But you'll definitely work with at least 1 folk, which is the business advisor. I kind of see them as like almost like your case manager.
Nate,
and
does the business advisor, when they pair a business with a technical support person, is that also a stable of people that MV Strong maintains, or is that their own Rolodex?
Right.
That advisor's Rolodex.
No. So this is again all done through kind of our back end. So it's a stable of folks that we've got. We call them functional specialists that we have, and a lot of the business advisors fall into that camp. A lot of these folks work with businesses for a living, and they tend to have specialties. So you'll have business advisors who are they're accounting people at the end of the day. And so we know if a business has an accounting issue, whether it's broad or whether that's technical, we're going to pair them with a business advisor who knows that stuff. But same thing if a business advisor sits down with a business. Sometimes the business doesn't know what they really need. And they say, I think I need this. And they go, well, what you really need is you need to redo your books here. You need a better system. And we're going to, I'm going to hand you off to Elkin, who can help you get set up with QuickBooks and get a better system. And then from there, you can accomplish what you want. So there's some of that pairing off that happens once you determine exactly what kind of the problem that the business is having. So if you want to become a business advisor, we've got a link right here. Like I said, we've got over 20 on the books. We're in a comfortable space, but like we're not closed. We're always open to kind of growing our bench. So the link is right there on our website to apply to become a business advisor. Click here. It pays, the payment structure is a little funky. The first 2 to 5 hours pays $250. After the 5th hour, it pays an additional $250 for $250 to $500 for the work. So at the end of the day, it boils down to like, I think $75 to $100 an hour based on, how many hours you put into it. So again, it's not charity, it's money on the table. We want to make sure that this is worth everybody's time and that the businesses are treated like they would if they were to engage with a business advisor on their own, which is a priority. Everything's translatable on our website. So again, being cognizant, we've got a huge Spanish speaking population in our region, was really important to us. And so the entire website's translatable, and again, got a lot of bilingual speakers here on our bench. And that's the short and sweet of the program. So I kind of wanted to at least just pump the brakes here and see if folks had any immediate questions.
No.
An observation is just that I feel like a lot of times agencies create websites that have too many options. It's like the whole situation when you go and get an ice cream and there are too many flavors to pick from.
Yes.
I feel like for us as a chamber and for members of this committee, it's an easy resource to direct aspiring business owners or young business owners to go and check out, because it seems like they're walked through by a real human being. They're walked through this entire process to find the resources they need. So for places like, CI Works or the Trades Mill or Cedar Street Studios, where you have a lot of new entrepreneurs
Yeah.
settling in. I mean,
A lot of people ask me for information that I'm not good at. So I have a website to send them to. That would be really good.
That's exactly what we were hoping to happen. We know a lot of folks are in that position, especially you guys are almost like the local champions. You attract the small businesses and entrepreneurs because you have that space. Being able to say, take 5 minutes. It's a free business advisor. I don't know anything about accounting. Talk to an accountant. It's for you. It's a partnership we've got here. And because you're here in the city, it's available to you at no cost. I mean, that's a huge asset. And hopefully the hardest part is trying to, get that few hours of a business owner's time, because time is money when you're in small business. I was a small business owner for a while. Everybody wants time from you. So I know that's your biggest, that's the hardest part. But we hope that they see the value in it. And again, those little partnerships where you can pair people off to do a warm handoff and say, this is a real person that's going to help you. We hope that gets some traction, and we've seen a little traction already. So we launched this 2 weeks ago. It's fairly new. We've got 22 businesses we're working with currently. We're looking to work with 150 to 200. It's a soft cap, I call it. And because the Merrimack Valley Strong is sitting within the larger small business strong, we can kind of do handoffs to a small business strong. So that is all to say, we really try hard not to say no to anybody. We want to say yes to everybody. And we haven't said no to anybody yet. So we've got a lot of open slots.
Excuse me, do you, are nonprofits included in all of this as
Yes.
well? Okay, great. So startup nonprofits would benefit from your service.
That's huge.
Mm.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of nonprofit. I mean, the poor nonprofits, they're not eligible for a lot of programs that rolled out. So we fought really hard to make sure that this was available to them.
So this is a lending program too. Did I hear you correct?
So a lot of the business advisors are with MCCI, and MCCI is administering the whole program. They're a partner in this. So they see it as a pipeline for small businesses. And we know that one of the top need, if not the top need that small businesses are having right now, is they need access to funds. A lot of small businesses there's small businesses that are doing well. There's small businesses that are struggling, but we see that access to flexible capital is a need that a lot of them are having. So MCCI is in a unique position where they can provide a lot of that lending, or it can do a handoff to organizations like Mass Growth Capital Corporation, which is another lender, and they're in a position to work with the banks. MCCI works with banks throughout the region, to sweeten deals, just because they know for a bank to go 100% in on a small business loan, it's tough. It's tough to make that happen. But if they can come in as a loss leader here, they're in the business of making it work for the small businesses. So if they can get a couple banks together, that's all things they pride themselves in and hope to do on the long run. So again, putting capital then into the hands of small businesses would be, not something. It's something that we want to see happening out of this, but not necessarily part of the program. And
I was just wondering how far out on a limb that they're willing to go, because I know that, in my case, I had worked at Gould Insurance for, 25 years, but I just worked there. And I had the opportunity to buy the business and got the stark reality of, hey, listen, you're nobody as far as the bank's concerned. And yeah, the most they were going to lend me is 30% of the purchase price.
right.
And I was like, oh no, here I have this great opportunity, and what am I going to do? And
Right.
fortunately, the business owner at the time funded the other 70% of the purchase. And I've since been able to, get a loan and pay everybody off, because now I've owned the business for 5 years. And
Okay.
you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I just wonder how far out on a limb you guys would have been willing to go in, say, my case.
So that would be, we have approached the edge of my knowledge in terms of lending.
Okay.
So that would be a conversation for MCCI, and I'm sure they would take everything. They take everything by case basis. But that scenario is the exact scenario we see happening all the time with small businesses, where they're like, this is a good. What you did was good. For the community, it was good for the small business. It's just the bank can't always be they're not in a position to always make that happen. So MCCI really tries to. Again, their mission is to loan to unbankable businesses. So, and if they can do half of it, and that half, brings the banks along, then all the better.
Yeah, good. Okay,
Great.
thanks.
Yeah,
That's a very
they're a pretty cool organization. They actually run 2 revolving loan funds, one in Haverhill, one in Lawrence, that popped up somewhat recently, and where they're trying to kind of that model of having all the local banks come in to provide, because it's all the banks experience it too. So if they all can kind of come together and then provide financial products specifically for those smaller businesses, then the community really stands to benefit from it.
This is Bob Lavoie on the phone.
Yep.
I used to chair the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission I was on it for about 20 years. And do you guys still have the revolving loan fund?
We do. Our funny little revolving loan fund. We are the only RPA with a revolving loan fund in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, as far as I know.
But right. So I just mentioned it to my committee here or our committee that in addition to the other resources that you've been speaking about, that the Planning Commission itself administers a revolving loan fund. It's usually tapped out, 80 or 90%, but it is available. And the last thing, my only other question is, can you remind us what MCCI stands for?
Sure. It's Mill Cities Community Investments.
What are the parameters?
Amesbury is definitely.
Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
I was just curious what the parameters of the loan is. How much can they actually lend out to any one borrower?
For the our own revolving loan fund, which we have in house at MVPC, I think we do up to like 20%, but we can't take a first position. So I view the MVPC loan fund, which is ours, we have in house, is one of these resources that we can bring into a deal and help close the gap. But it's a smaller piece of the pie, the capital stack. MCCI is much more flexible in what they can loan on, whereas we're kind of more stringent. Again, I can't speak fluently to MCCI's financial products. Conversation that would be best had with them directly.
So Nate, how can we as a chamber and as economic development leaders in Amesbury in the area, how can we help spread the word about this? Because there are businesses that we don't even know that are important to us that may need you right now and may not ever, patch into this video.
Right. That's a really good point. Well, I think this is a great starting point just to get the word out. So often we create these programs, but there's not necessarily any like marketing money behind it. So we have to rely on who we know, and we have to rely on kind of getting out there on the street and spreading the word ourselves.
Well, the good thing is our sponsors, North Shore Bank, North Shore Realty Group, Newburyport Bank, and Energy Source, do provide funds so that this video we do pay to promote these videos on social media so that more people have access to them.
That's
I don't even know we do it, but are there flyers that we could have here in our office or promo materials that we could provide to Cedar Street Studios, Trades Mill?
There are.
Yeah.
So we've got hold on, let me switch this. Boom. So we've got this is kind of our marketing plan, but we've got a bunch of like social media. We call them social media content, things that you can share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and tag us in, tag yourselves in. We've got no pride of ownership here. This is something that we just want to get out. So if the chamber wants to do a post, that would be welcome and encouraged. And we can give you the material. We can give you the language and the images to do that. So it involves no lift on your end.
Well, MVPC is a member of our chamber, so this is your business.
Right.
So yeah, we would be doing this regardless. But and just again to recap, for the business owner, this is free totally access to an advisor that you are paying to make sure they're responsive to the business owner. I think that's
right.
That's the huge point. We get calls, I'd say once a month for the Walter McMiniman, who used to be here as a business advisor. Exactly.
Yeah.
And most are not members of the chamber because they're new businesses.
Yeah.
So this is great.
Additionally, like a blast out to business contact lists. I know as a chamber, you have those blasts, and we're willing to discuss, I don't know if there's a cost structure to that or whatever it is. But, helping us get the word out to those get eyeballs on the resources. We've got a half pager, we've got one pagers, flyers that you can put up, all that sorts of material. And we're happy to, figure out ways to partner with that. So I'd be happy. I'll put my email in the chat here. Whether that is, hey, can you send me some flyers and we can print it out, or I'm happy to pop on down and throw them up myself and grab a cup of coffee, or whether that is an email blast or like a Facebook post. Happy to brainstorm on all that stuff.
No questions for me. Pretty straightforward.
I have one question. Do they match like an industry? Like you match, like the small business, is it matched to an advisor that's in a similar industry, or is it like would that be an ideal match? I guess.
Yeah. We would love to. We've got some. For instance, we have an advisor who he's a Spanish speaker and he's a Portuguese speaker. But his specialty is really working. He's from Brazil, and his specialty is working with like Portuguese bakeries. Not so much. There's not a ton of them here, but there are areas in Massachusetts where there are tons of Portuguese bakeries and Portuguese eateries. That's his bread and butter. No pun intended there, but and so he can do. In those instances, we deploy him to those industries that are really specific to him. So, whenever possible, we try to pair businesses with an advisor who knows that industry.
Great.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bob must be taking a left or a right. I don't know.
Okay. Well, if there's no more questions for Nate, just thank you. Thank you for making this, possible, Nate, for getting this information out to our businesses and for joining us today. And always be in touch with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for making some time for me. I'll follow up Phil an email too with some of those like half pagers and little content and social media stuff, and we can figure out, you know, how to share it from there. And again, my email's in the chat. Feel free to email me if you've got ideas or if you know of businesses that might be able to benefit from them. I'm happy to walk them through the program.
Great.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
Good to see everyone.
Take care.